Hey guys, welcome back to Adlib Talk, and this is my review for The Green Knight. Okay, that was definitely something different from what I expected. And you know I love movies that take different, unique approaches and surprise me. But is it a bit too much art over entertainment in the case of The Green Knight? Let's find out. But before we get into the nitty gritty, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and please do consider subscribing, as those are the two main ways you can help support my channel right here at Adlib Talk. Cheers, and let's get right into that review. So, The Green Knight is an epic medieval fantasy film directed, written, edited and produced by Dave Lowery, starring Dev Patel as Gawain, the nephew of King Arthur. The story is based on the poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Gawain takes part in a feast at the Round Table hosted by his uncle King Arthur. During the festivities, Morgan Le Fay, his mother, does this sort of magical ritual in which she seems to summon the Green Knight. Now he enters into court on horseback and challenges the knights present. And his challenge was that if any knight managed to land a blow on himself, on the Green Knight, that knight would be able to take his green axe. However, next Christmas, the same knight must travel to the Green Chapel far in the north, where the Green Knight would return that same blow. Now, our protagonist, Gawain, takes up the challenge, but is instantly confused as the Green Knight sort of kneels down and offers his head. After some hesitation, Gawain chops off his head. However, the Green Knight instantly rises again, picks up his head, and rides off laughing. 1 year passes, it's Christmas again, and Gawain's story has become extremely popular throughout the kingdom. And it is time for him to embark on a journey north towards the Green Chapel. Let's start off with the obvious here. If you're here to watch a movie that respects and sort of faithfully retells the original story, you're in the wrong place. The Green Knight is a clear postmodern retelling of the original 14th century poem, which approaches classical themes like chivalry and honor in a completely different manner to what we're used to in movies about medieval knights. Although deep down it is still, I guess, a simple tale in which our knight goes on this journey and learns an important lesson from said journey. Now, as pure entertainment, I sometimes struggled with this movie. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes long, but those 2 hours felt much longer due to how sort of the excruciating slow pace that the movie has. The journey itself takes quite a long time to start, and once it does, there are many moments where I was just wishing that something would actually happen. Thankfully, when Gawain meets individuals like, for example, the bandits or the lord and his lady, those interactions are excellent. However, the pace and flow of this movie are hindered greatly by long moments of literally looking at Patel's face as he rides or walks, with admittedly very beautiful scenery behind him. This might not be an issue for all, but for your average moviegoer, there will be moments where you will find yourself looking at your mobile phone or wishing you were watching another King Arthur movie like Excalibur. Talking about beautiful scenery, this movie does a really good job with its cinematography. There are some incredible shots here, and I cannot fail to mention the last 20 minutes of this movie, which are some of the best cinema I have seen in a very long time. I will have a small section dedicated for the ending, but I couldn't fail to mention it here as well since we're talking about cinematography. So the movie is clearly incredibly cinematic, and the production value here is exceptional as well, as we've come to expect from A24 movies. The medieval set pieces are beautiful, and I especially noticed how well designed the costumes were. Visuals are quite important here due to how the movie is so symbolic and pretty much compilation of metaphors being seen through the eyes of a rather unreliable narrator. For example, there is one moment when Gawain eats mushrooms and starts to see giants walking in front of him. To add to that cinematic feel is a very good soundtrack accompanying most of the action, composed by Daniel Hart. The approach taken here in making it a sort of gritty adaptation of a romanticized story is definitely not unique. We can go back to 2004 when Antoine Fuqua directed a rather gritty yet quite boring movie about King Arthur, which sort of showed this dark, gritty approach as well. But what I found fascinating about this interpretation is that in this dark, gritty world, we still had space for extremely fantastical elements. Now, are these fantastical elements really taking place, or is it all to blame on our unreliable narrator? However, this is all a strong element of this movie. You're always questioning what you're seeing. And that showcases how well the sort of world building is done in this movie. It really is fantastic. But what about the performances? This movie hangs a lot on the performance by Dev Patel, as we pretty much spend all the 2 hours of this movie following him. I'm glad to say that yes, he does give an excellent performance, and what I really enjoyed from his performance was how human he managed to make a character like Gawain, which is not an easy thing. In difficult situations, we can see the fear in his eyes. When, for example, the Green Knight lays down and offers his head, we can see the confusion in his eyes. His performance and the emotions he showcases with his eyes were truly excellent. And just seeing him struggle, for example, there's one moment where he struggles with temptation. That was also a very, very good scene for Dev Patel, who showcases all his talent there. Finally, what about the ending? That was a fantastic sequence of events we got to see in those last 20 minutes. It almost felt like a prize for getting through the rest of the movie. Unfortunately, I can't get into details, but it really, really was good and kind of wraps up the whole thing without offering obvious answers to the questions asked throughout the movie. And I must compliment the editing in those last 20 minutes. The editing especially was out of this world. Ultimately, The Green Knight is classic A24 entertainment. It's particular, it's thematic, it's a visual splendor, and it's definitely not for everyone. However, if you have a bit of knowledge of the Arthurian legends and have the patience to get through some of the slower moments of this movie, you will be rewarded with an excellent cinematic experience that, yes, will leave you with more questions than answers, but most definitely satisfied that you watched it. My final rating for The Green Knight is a very good 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Ad Lib Talk.